Hi, Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. We meet again. My name is Ikmanif. This is the third part, which is I will combine two chapter or two subtopic in this one presentation, which is homeostasis and anatomical direction or anatomical terms. Alright. So, what is hemostasis? Alright, so hemostasis is a process in which our body relatively maintain a constant environment within our body. Not too much, not too low. Something what we call it as equivalence. Okay, equivalence. The variables include such as the temperatures, volume and chemical content, in which they must be maintained within a normal range. For example, our temperatures like 36 point up to 37, all right, and then even 37.7 is already we consider as a mild fever. Okay, so our body need to maintain these temperatures for our body to be function normally. All right, so for your information, under hemostasis we have two types. Number one, what we call as positive feedbacks and negative feedbacks. So without further ado, let's have a look what this positive and negative feedback is all about. So first of all, we will dwell into what is negative feedbacks. Okay, we are referring to a small deviation from set of point, which is something that been disturbed. Okay, the system will respond to increase or to reduce the value, okay, in which they want to maintain a normal range. So there are three components, okay, that helps our body to achieve this. Number one, receptors, control center, and the effectors. For example, here we stated about blood pressure regulator, okay, blood glucose regulation, and blood calcium regulation. So everything of this need to be regulated within our body. All right, so this is diagrams. Okay, this is showing that where it's stimulus, which is the one that caused the disturbance, rise blood pressure. This is no longer balanced. Okay, this become imbalance. So when this is balanced, we call it as hemostasis, but in this case it's not balanced. So what happens that our blood pressure increase, so our arterial blood pressure raise above the normal range, and then look, this is our baroreceptor in carotid sinus and aortic arch stimulated. So what happened? They give signals, okay, to our brain, inhibit vasomotor center that cause our sympathetic impulse to of heart decline. Okay, HR, our heart rate, okay, decline, right? And then the rate of vasomotor impulse also decline, which is allow vasodilation to occur, which is increased blood vessel diameters to reduce the pressure within the blood vessels. Okay, and what happens that rate is low and decrease carbon dioxide within the blood vessel and return the blood pressure to hemostatic range. So low the BP, the blood pressure in overall. Okay, this is the vice versa of processes when this is imbalance, which is decreased blood pressure. All right. Next, okay, what happens then? Normally we have a certain amount level of calcium ion within our blood, right? And in case of calcium ion level is too high, okay, within our blood system, what happens that our thyroid will release what we call a calcitonin, in which increase calcium ion reabsorption within our bones, okay, and decrease calcium ion intake, right, from our gastrointestinal system, because why, we have too much now, right? And we, with that, we want to remove more calcium ion. Okay, so it's in the case like you have taken a lot of milk and even other calcium ion supplement, right? And reabsorption in our kidney to remove through urinification process. Hence, it will bring back the level of calcium within the normal range. Okay, so those are the concept of homeostasis. Right. This is the negative feedback. Another type of negative feedbacks. This is the same process, but this is more to carbohydrate. carbohydrate or glucose in our body, high glucose contents in our body. But I love to discuss on this one. So if you did notice, all right, the previous slide we are mainly showing that you have more, so we want to reduce it back, okay, to make it balanced. More balance, less going to up to balance. But for these cases, this is a little bit different, still under negative feedback, in which the more stimulant you have, our body will try give more stimulants. All right, so this is an example when it happens that to pregnant mothers. Okay, what happens that the fetus grow, okay, use a lot of space in the uterus. So what happens that a stretching receptor is activated within the uterus. Previously is something that push, okay, push up, right? Or let's say stretching is activated, in which they need more space, the body will recounter to regain that space. But for these cases it's different. When we have receptor activated, okay, they will give a signal to the brain, all right, to give more space, okay, in the womb, okay, which is allow the baby to grow, right? And this process is continue until the birth of the baby, right, in which the continuation will release a lot of oxytocin. Oxytocin is something like allow the muscle to contract, okay. This is happen a lot when the baby is ready to be delivered, or we call it, oh, this is a due time. So the high level of oxytocin cause the uterus to contract and push the baby out. So what I want to say is that when they have stimulus of to given more space in the uterus, the process give more and more instead of become less. Instead of fighting, no, they go with the flow to increase the more spaces. Same with the oxytocin, in which high oxytocin, they cause more production of oxytocin. At the end of it, will allow the baby to burst, okay, the mother to giving the birth, okay. So that is about negative feedbacks. Right, so this is another explanation. In case for estrogen, you can look through this one. Alright, next is positive feedback. So in positive feedback, it's quite simple. The output enhance the aggregates of the original stimulus. For example, regulation of blood clotting. So what happened? Right, if there is a break in the blood vessel, okay, let's say you have a cut, okay, a nail cut or a knife, the feedback cycle is initiated. Alright, it's trigger a lot of component to come in. Clotting occurs as a platelet adhere to the release site, and they release a lot of interleukin and call a lot of our blood cell to come in and to patch up that cut area, okay, and then it's blocked and return this back to the normal without no cutting in the blood vessel, right? So that's it on the positive and negative feedback, or what we call as hemostasis of human body. Alright, so I noticed that the video is become longer. So instead of I combine it, I need to make a separate video, right? Because I don't want to have a very long video in the YouTube, right? To avoid short focus or short intention among my audience and even for me. Right, okay, see you for the next or the last slide in terms of anatomical position or anatomical terms. Alright, assalamualaikum and have a nice day.